She didn't just steal my inheritance, she used the very blueprint I drew to dismantle my entire life. People always talk about betrayal like it happens in a moment. A single, sharp event. A slap, a scream, a slammed door. But that's not how it works, not when it's deliberate. Not when it's strategic. No. True betrayal is a slow burn. Like rot beneath polished wood, like cracks behind painted walls. You never see it until the structure caves in. For me, it began at 7:14 a.m. on a Tuesday in March, in my home office on the second floor of a craftsman house I designed myself. The one with the slate gray siding, the wraparound porch, the stone path Sierra and I once argued about for 3 days because I wanted angular steps and she insisted on a more organic curve. I was sipping lukewarm coffee, Colombian, black, no sugar, reading over revisions to a community center project in Eugene, when the email notification blinked at the corner of my screen. From Sierra Monroe. Subject, no subject. Sent, 11:22 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I've moved the Lucille inheritance into my personal account. It's better this way. That was it. No, hi Caleb. No, we need to talk. Just a 6 million pixel punch to the gut. Attached was a photo. Blurry, like it had been taken in motion, or maybe she just didn't care to focus. Sierra, standing on a balcony somewhere that looked vaguely like Santa Fe, wine glass in hand. Sunset bleeding gold across her cheekbones. Her body leaned in toward a man with a thick, well-groomed beard, wearing a smug little smirk like he knew he'd won something. My wife was laughing. Her eyes were crinkled in that way they used to when I made her laugh. But this laugh wasn't mine. This moment wasn't ours. And the sweater she wore, burnt orange, hand-knitted, slightly too big, was one I'd bought her on our 10th anniversary. My cursor hovered over the reply button for a long time. My fingers didn't twitch. My jaw didn't tighten. I felt nothing. Not rage. Not grief. Just a hollow, strange stillness. The kind that comes not when a heart breaks, but when it gives up beating. I closed the laptop, stood slowly, and walked downstairs to the kitchen. The floors creaked under my weight, old oak, weathered just enough to feel intentional. I poured myself a glass of water from the filtered tap she insisted we install. The faucet still leaked slightly, I'd never gotten around to fixing it. Something about the inconsistency had grown oddly familiar, like her. Through the window above the sink, I looked out at the backyard. 3 summers ago, Sierra and I spent a week reshaping that space together. She picked the hydrangeas, blue, purple, white. I designed the stone path, laid every slab by hand. We fought over the fire pit placement. She won that one. Said the east side caught the light better during her evening grounding rituals. She was always grounding something, herself, her brand, her image. And now she'd grounded my goddamn future. The money wasn't just money. It was $617,000 my Aunt Lucille had left me after she passed from a vicious cancer that didn't give her more than 5 months to say goodbye. The same Lucille who'd raised me after my parents died in a car crash when I was 14. Who worked double shifts as an ER nurse, who packed my lunch through college, who mailed me handwritten notes with words like, "Patience builds the longest bridges." In her will, she left a single handwritten line. Build something that lasts. Sierra knew that. She knew exactly what Lucille meant to me. And she still took it. Not asked. Not negotiated. Just, took. I went back upstairs. My home office still smelled faintly of cedar and printer toner. I reached beneath the bottom drawer of the desk and felt along the underside until my fingers found the latch. A soft click. The hidden compartment opened, a custom design I'd built into the frame myself, a little piece of paranoia disguised as craftsmanship. Inside was a fireproof envelope. A copy of the original trust documents. Paper trails. Banking routes. PIN access trees. And the truth, the money Sierra thought she had moved, wasn't there. At least not where she thought. I slid the documents back in place, locked the compartment, and closed the drawer. No trembling. No shouting. Not even a crack in my voice when I exhaled. This wasn't impulsive rage. This was architecture. One line. One beam. One calculation at a time. She'd played her first move. She just didn't realize I'd already drawn the whole board. You don't really know someone until they hurt you. Not just hurt you, plan it. Sierra didn't just betray me. She drafted it like a blueprint. Deliberate. Silent. Flawlessly cruel. But to understand how she got there, how we got there, you'd have to peel back more than the layers of a bank statement. You'd have to dig beneath the polished wood floors, the hand-laid stone paths, all the way to where the rot began. We met at an industry wellness summit in Austin, 15 years ago. I had just wrapped a municipal library in Seattle, my first major solo project, and Sierra was speaking on a panel about sustainable wellness spaces and consumer trust in postmodern branding. That's the exact phrase she used, postmodern branding. I remember rolling my eyes when I first heard it. But then she walked into the evening mixer in this silver-gray wrap dress, barefoot, laughing like the world owed her its attention. She moved with the kind of confidence that didn't seek approval. She expected it. And got it. We talked for 2 hours straight. She told me about her plans to launch a holistic wellness company, organic products, guided retreats, breathwork certification. She had the outline. She just needed the walls. I offered to build them. Looking back, I wonder if she ever truly loved me, or if I was always a stepping stone with a drafting table. Still, the years that followed weren't fake. At least not all of them. We traveled. We hosted slow dinner nights. We argued about grout colors and ended up laughing in the tub with takeout and wine. She told me once, lying half asleep on my chest, I don't want children. Every new product line is a child to me. Every retreat is a birth. I said, that's okay. My buildings are my legacy. And I meant it. I think that was the first real compromise we made, choosing ambition over biology. It worked, until it didn't. Lucille's cancer came fast and mean. Stage 4 ovarian. 1 month she was sending me pictures of her cat in a sweater, the next she couldn't climb the stairs without losing her breath. I pulled back from work. Moved temporarily to Atlanta. Became her caregiver. I bathed her. Fed her. Read her the same Agatha Christie novels she used to read me when I was a teenager. The only family I had left. Sierra visited twice. Once was a weekend she squeezed in between a branding seminar in Sedona and a product launch in San Francisco. The second, 2 days before Lucille died. She stood in the doorway of the hospice room, arms crossed. Hospitals drain my energy, she said, like it was a food allergy. I didn't fight her on it. Maybe I should've. Maybe I was too tired to care. When Lucille passed, the inheritance was more than I expected. She'd invested for decades, carefully, quietly. I didn't even know about half the accounts until the lawyer handed me the papers. Sierra blinked twice when she saw the number. Then she smiled. Wow, she said. That's a lot of potential. That word. Potential. She said it the way a shark might say blood. The next week, over grilled salmon and a bottle of Tempranillo, she brought it up again. I've been sketching out ideas, she said, sliding a linen-bound notebook across the table. Desert detox. We'd build it in Sedona or maybe Scottsdale. Mid-century energy with a soft Zen overlay. You design it. I operate it. We'd be unstoppable. I nodded slowly, flipping through her mock-ups. They were impressive. She had vision. But she didn't mention Lucille's name once. I need to think about what Lucille would have wanted, I said. She didn't argue. Didn't press. She just went quiet. And something behind her eyes flickered, something that wasn't disappointment. It was calculation. That silence stayed. 4 months. She started sleeping in the guest room on nights she needed space. Her retreats grew longer. Calls shorter. Her phone stayed face down. She started ending conversations before I was finished speaking. And I let her. Because there was something else between us. Something I owed her. 5 years ago, I slept with a junior associate from a Boston firm we were collaborating with. It was one night. A conference. Too much bourbon. A slow elevator. Weakness. Sierra never confronted me. But she knew. I saw it in the way she watched me that summer. The sudden chill in her voice when I said I'd be working late. The way her touches became rehearsed, brittle. She didn't explode. She retreated. Calculated. Planted seeds. So yes, there's blood on my side of the ledger too. But there's a difference between a mistake and a movement. I betrayed her once. She spent years orchestrating my erasure. That wasn't revenge. That was architecture. Part 3, The Blood-Stained Blueprint. It didn't hit me all at once. It never does. Real betrayal unfolds in whispers, not sirens. You don't walk into a room and find the knife. You notice a drawer half open, a blade missing, a trail of fingerprints you weren't meant to see. I started re-examining everything after that email. Not because I was shocked, I'd stopped expecting loyalty from Sierra long before. But because I needed to understand the scope. The precision. She hadn't just lied. She had drafted this like a project proposal. And that meant, somewhere in the blueprints we'd shared, I would find her crime scene. The irony? It came back to me in the form of my own work. 8 months ago, Sierra sent me a design brief for a private meditation space she wanted built into the guest room. Her request had been part of a longer conversation about turning parts of the house into wellness content zones for her social media and product photo shoots. It didn't seem odd at the time. She was always repackaging spirituality for marketing. A calming nook, she called it, with airflow optimized for breathwork. I never got around to building it. Work got busy. Then Lucille got sick. The file had stayed buried in my project folder, half forgotten, until now. That morning, with sunlight bleeding across my desk and a tightness in my chest I refused to name, I opened the file again. It looked simple enough. A minimalist layout, floating bench, soft LED underlighting, neutral textures. But my eyes caught something in the notes. Tucked into the lower right corner, hidden in the legend like a contractor's instruction, was this. S3 GTR 0224. My stomach tightened. I read it again. Not a code I recognized from any architectural notation I'd ever used. Not any shorthand I taught my junior architects. But it wasn't for them, was it? S3. Sierra's initials, at least, how she used to sign brand documents back when she still looped hearts in her email signature. GTR. Grant Transfer Request. I'd seen those words before, in a secure banking document Lucille's lawyer once showed me. 0224, February 24th. Travis's birthday. I remembered because Sierra had posted a smoothie bowl with that number sculpted in chia seeds and pretended it was for a milestone business event. The caption had 300 likes and 2 fire emojis. I highlighted the code. My cursor hovered. My hands were steady. She'd used a shared architectural file, my profession, to hide instructions for accessing and moving financial assets. It wasn't a request. It was a trigger. A green light. The meditation space was never for breathing. It was a signal. But a signal to whom? I opened the file's metadata. Created, 8 months ago. Modified, 6 days later. IP address, our home network. Tracked edits, only one user, S3. I kept digging. The project folder linked back to our shared cloud, which we'd originally created to organize renovations. I hadn't touched it in a while. She must have assumed I wouldn't. She was wrong. The folder labeled Backyard Flow Drafts held more than photos of deck plans and Pinterest screenshots. Buried among subfolders was a zipped file titled inventory_notes_temp. I opened it. And there it was. A spreadsheet, meticulously organized. Dates. Amounts. Source accounts. Destinations. Small transfers at first, $1,000 here, $2,500 there. Always under thresholds that would trigger alerts. Each marked with vague notes, supplier reimbursement, partnership float. Destination, Red Rock Community Bank. I'd never heard of it. There was also a scanned apartment lease. Scottsdale, Arizona. One-bedroom unit in a modern desert complex with wellness architecture listed as a design feature. And then, God help me, I opened her browser cache. I shouldn't have. But I did. Among searches for chakra alignment table and DIY herbal hair dye were open tabs for Travis Berkeley's Instagram. A photo from 3 weeks ago showed him smiling in a stone bath, in the same Scottsdale complex listed on the lease. His caption read, "Home is where the frequency resonates." The comments were full of flame emojis. One was from Sierra's business account. "So proud of your new journey." My pulse didn't spike. I didn't clench my fists. I just stared at the screen. This wasn't carelessness. This was orchestration. She hadn't just taken money. She hadn't just found someone else. She had created an entirely new life, an exit plan crafted down to the metadata, and she'd used my language to do it. Used my tools, my vocabulary, the professional code I'd spent 20 years building, as camouflage for betrayal. She'd hidden a dagger inside a blueprint. And I, like a goddamn idiot, had handed her the canvas. For a moment, I leaned back in my chair and looked around my office. The framed sketches. The old compass Lucille gave me when I graduated. The model of a courthouse I designed, still collecting dust on the side shelf. I felt the betrayal ripple through every structure I'd ever drafted with trust. She hadn't just tried to gut my accounts. She'd desecrated the thing I loved more than anything, design. She turned form against function. She turned me against myself. And I wasn't done yet. If Sierra thought she'd played her final move, she had no idea I was just breaking ground. It's a strange thing, what happens to your breath when your opponent plays a bold move too early. You don't choke. You inhale. Slowly. Calmly. Because that's when the real game begins. When I realized Sierra had embedded a command code into a meditation room blueprint, used my work as a cipher to mask theft, I didn't scream. I didn't throw a chair. I pulled out my notepad, opened my calendar, and began drawing up a response. Retaliation isn't about rage. It's about rhythm. 2 days after decoding her architectural betrayal, I had my legal team scheduled, my financial logs extracted, and my first call to Rita Wallace, the estate attorney who helped Lucille set up the trust, placed before sunrise. "Rita," I said when she picked up, sounding groggy but sharp as ever, "I'm activating the firewall Lucille designed." A pause. She tried to move it. She thinks she already did. Rita exhaled like she'd been waiting for this. "I'll get the trust's monitoring system reports pulled immediately. Expect a full log by morning." Next, Dennis. My financial advisor, and the only man I trusted with my back-end accounts. He'd overseen the separation of Lucille's trust from my marital finances 2 years ago. "I need everything," I said, "joint accounts, flagged withdrawals, activity from the past 10 months. I want IP addresses, timestamps, and matching access credentials." He didn't ask why. While they got to work, I called in an old friend from my firm, Lena Choi. Cybersecurity specialist. Back in grad school, she used to hack her own student portal for fun. I sent her the metadata Sierra left behind. The blueprint files. The spreadsheet. Her breath caught when she saw the structure behind the transfers. She's methodical, Lena said, but not flawless. The browser timestamps alone can kill her case if she tries to frame you. She won't frame me, I replied. She'll fake agreement. Meaning? She's going to produce a fake recording, me approving the asset transfer. I know her rhythm. She wants to win without looking dirty. And she didn't disappoint. 3 days later, I received a formal notice through my lawyer Marcus Flint. Sierra had retained outside legal counsel and submitted a digital audio recording allegedly capturing me, verbally consenting, to merging all finances into her operating business. The clip was barely 90 seconds long. The voice was mine. The cadence, my phrasing. But not the timing. It was a Frankenstein edit. Spliced from phone calls, possibly voice memos. And behind it all, crafting the illusion, was Alexis Crowley. I knew the name. Crowley was a disgraced financial advisor turned brand fixer, known in underground circles for ghostwriting bankruptcy pivot narratives and falsifying startup valuations. 2 years ago, she was quietly investigated for securities manipulation in a boutique herbal skincare firm that mysteriously relocated overseas before charges could stick. Now she was Sierra's co-conspirator. And together, they tried to write me out of my own legacy. They didn't count on what I'd built behind the walls. Metadata doesn't lie. And I had Lena. Within hours, we extracted the audio file's edit history, location of original clips, and anomalies in frequency consistency, enough to raise doubt in any courtroom. We matched it with logs from Sierra's home device and a laptop she left logged into the shared cloud. Every document, every note, every screenshot of my accounts, she'd kept it all under a file labeled, Wellness Expansion Planning. She thought she was being clever. She forgot who built the system. We filed the first countermotion by the following Monday. Accompanying exhibits included 3 forensic reports proving audio manipulation. Cloud access logs tied to her IP. Screenshot trail of funds transferred to Red Rock Community Bank. Apartment lease in Scottsdale. Instagram post of Travis in the same complex, captioned like a confession. A notarized statement from Frank, our neighbor, confirming Travis had been to our house repeatedly while I was away. Marcus handled the filing. I just watched. Calm. Present. And when Sierra's legal counsel, Allison Beck, called for a private negotiation, it wasn't to challenge. It was to plea. We met in Marcus's office. Sierra walked in wearing muted tones, like a widow in mourning. Her face carefully composed, but the twitch in her right cheek betrayed her. Allison spoke first. My client would like to resolve this discreetly. We believe a compromise. No, I cut in. This isn't a compromise. This is a cleanup. Sierra glanced at me, the mask slipping for a moment. Caleb, don't be petty. Petty, I repeated. Is that what we're calling embezzling from your dying aunt's trust now? She folded her arms. You left me behind long before I left you. I smiled faintly. You know what the difference is, Sierra? I regret what I did. You planned what you did. Silence. She broke it. What do you want? The $96,000 you drained from our joint account. Returned. Within 72 hours. Her jaw clenched. Non-disclosure agreement, I continued. You walk away. No claims to the house. No inheritance. No public statements. You're threatening me. No. I'm containing you. Allison cleared her throat. If my client agrees. We won't file criminal charges, Marcus said. But we'll still retain every document. Insurance. In case she forgets her place. That was it. Sierra signed the papers with a hand that only shook once. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She slid the documents across the table and rose without fanfare. Then, as she reached the door, she turned, eyes colder than I'd ever seen them. "I thought you were weaker than this," she said. I stood, picked up the agreement, and replied, "That was your first miscalculation." She didn't respond. The door clicked shut behind her. And just like that, the game ended. Not with a bang. Not with applause. But with the sound of someone realizing they were never the real architect. Just the blueprint. It arrived in an unmarked envelope, no return address. Just my name, typed, no embellishments. The kind of delivery that feels more like a whisper than a statement. Inside was a check. $96,000, the exact amount I demanded from Sierra, the final sum she siphoned from our shared account. Tucked into the same envelope, on a piece of linen paper torn from one of her old wellness journals, was a note written in her looping, steady hand. Not just the money. But the part of me that once believed I was right. No apology. No plea for forgiveness. Just that line. And somehow, it hit harder than if she'd begged. I stared at the check for a long while, standing in my kitchen, the sun angling through the blinds, painting harsh stripes on the tile. A silence hung in the air like humidity before a storm, thick, expectant. I should have felt closure. Victory, even. But something about her note stuck in my mind, like a nail left just beneath the surface. Not just the money. The part that believed she was right. What the hell did that even mean? It sat wrong in my gut for the rest of the day. Even after I handed the check to Dennis, even after he deposited it into the Lucille Foundation account, even after I told Marcus to finalize the NDA and archive the case. But that night, when Dennis called, his voice lower than usual, I understood why the check felt less like a conclusion, and more like a prelude. "Caleb," he said, "I was reviewing archived activity in the trust, just cleaning up loose ends for the audit, and something flagged." Flagged? I echoed, wary. Yeah. A single withdrawal from the Lucille Trust, dated 3 years ago. $10,000. I frowned. That can't be right. The trust wasn't even fully activated then. Correct. It was in a holding structure, but technically accessible with Lucille's sign-off. The record shows she authorized the withdrawal herself. Sent to a Daniel H., no last name listed on the wire. Account linked to a private medical practice. My throat dried. Medical? Dennis hesitated. Pediatrics. Atlanta. That name sound familiar? It did. Buried, half forgotten, like a piece of lint caught in the corner of an old drawer. Daniel. I hadn't thought of him in years. He was the man who helped fund the rest of my education after my parents died. Lucille always said it was a scholarship, but no paperwork ever backed that up. I only met him twice, both times through Lucille. Polite, reserved. Said he used to know my mother. I'd always assumed he was just another quiet benefactor. But now. I drove to Lucille's house the next morning, now empty, unsold, its air stale with absence. I still had the keys. The smell hit me the second I stepped inside, cinnamon, lavender, and something uniquely her. A scent memory that made the bottom of my heart throb. I didn't go to her bedroom. Not yet. Instead, I walked straight to the small hallway closet where she kept her safe behind an old stack of photo albums and tax folders. The combination was her birthday, same as the alarm code I'd never changed. The door swung open with a groan. Inside, her will, a few loose bonds, some jewelry, and a sealed envelope with my name written in pen that looked like it hadn't been used in years. Faded at the edges, a little wrinkled from time. My hands trembled for the first time since this began. I sat on the floor, the envelope in my lap. Opened it. Inside, a single letter. Lucille's handwriting was as neat as ever. Each word felt deliberate. Each sentence, a scalpel. My sweet Caleb. If you are reading this, I am gone, and perhaps the past has begun to echo where silence used to live. There is something I never told you. Something I chose to hide, not to deceive you, but to protect you from a truth that would only have burdened your heart. Daniel H. was not just a friend of your mother's. He was your biological father. Your mother never told you because she was scared. Daniel was not a bad man, but he was not a man capable of raising a child. And I was afraid you'd look at him and feel less wanted. Less chosen. So I chose to be your parent in full. With no rivals. When you were 14, I reached out to him, asked for help with your tuition. He agreed quietly, anonymously. I made sure you never knew. It was my promise to your mother. 3 years ago, he reached out to me. He was dying. He wanted to send you something. I allowed the transfer. I never told you because love, to me, meant keeping your foundation clean. But now I wonder if the truth matters more than the peace I tried to protect. Lucille. I don't remember standing up. I don't remember walking to her kitchen. I don't remember the glass of water I poured, or the tears that slid silently down my face, uninvited. Lucille, my anchor, my only real home, had held a truth from me all my life. She wasn't just my aunt. She had been everything, mother, guardian, mentor. And still, she'd chosen silence over revelation. To protect me. Or maybe, to protect the image of what I thought we were. It didn't undo the love she gave me. But it rewrote the map. And I couldn't help but think, Sierra's betrayal had been loud. Obvious. Lucille's had been quiet. Hidden. Gentle in its devastation. Yet both, in their own way, had built me on something other than truth. Some people rise from ashes. I rose from blueprints, torn, redrafted, traced over loss until the lines aligned again. The house on Laurelhurst Avenue sold faster than I expected. Families love craftsman charm, and mine had plenty of it: exposed beams, wraparound porch, hand-laid stone path. The hydrangeas Sierra planted still bloomed along the edges, oblivious to what those roots once witnessed. I didn't take much with me when I left. Just a few books, a chair my aunt once rocked me in, and my drafting tools. Everything else, every piece of shared furniture, artwork, memory that still smelled like her, I left behind. Let someone else repaint over our ghosts. My new place was a loft in downtown Portland. Industrial, sunlit, stripped down to its bones. Concrete floors. Steel beams. Honesty in material. No pretending here. The space didn't echo, it breathed. I didn't rebuild my life with noise. I rebuilt it with intent. The Lucille Foundation was born on the third Monday after I moved in. I sat with Rita, Dennis, and 2 nonprofit consultants over black coffee and legal paths. By noon, the paperwork was signed. The mission was clear: full-ride architectural scholarships for students who, like me, had lost too much too soon, but still wanted to create something that lasted. Our first recipient was Alina Rousseau, a 17-year-old from Lafayette, Louisiana. Her essay had a title that knocked the wind out of me. Spaces that heal, from ruin to rebirth. In her writing, she spoke about growing up in the remnants of Katrina. She described buildings not as shelters, but as memory vessels, how she wanted to design clinics for trauma recovery using warmth, light, and local textures. I watched her read the acceptance email on Zoom. She didn't cry. She inhaled, nodded once, and whispered, "Okay." Like she'd always known she belonged somewhere better. She just needed a key to open the door. Lucille would have loved her. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was honoring the past. I was building forward. Still, not every ghost leaves when you change the locks. One evening, I came home late after a foundation board meeting. In my mailbox, a thin, familiar envelope. No return address. Same beige color as the one that held Sierra's check. Inside wasn't a letter. Just a photo. A screenshot, actually, of the meditation room sketch she had sent me a year ago. The one with the code, S3GTR0224. But someone, probably her, had scribbled over the design in thick black ink. 2 words. I'm sorry. No name. No context. It didn't matter. I folded it once and placed it inside a manila folder marked closed. Not because it meant nothing. But because it no longer meant everything. Weeks passed. I got better at waking up without scanning for her scent on the pillow. I stopped avoiding the health aisle at the grocery store, where her brand used to stare at me from the shelves. The ache didn't vanish. It just quieted. Then came the text from Dennis. Dennis. 7 p.m. tonight. Dinner's still on. She's excited to meet you. Says she's obsessed with mid-century brutalism. Architect, like you. I read it twice. She. I almost typed, not ready. But instead, I sat on my couch, hand drifting into my jacket pocket, where I kept the check Sierra sent. Not because I needed the money. But because it reminded me that even closed wounds have weight. I looked at it one last time. Not just the money. The part of me that once believed she was right. I folded the check in half, tucked it deep into my wallet, and stood. Outside, the evening was cool, the breeze steady off the Willamette River. I walked west, cutting through the industrial park that once housed one of my early projects. Streetlights blinked to life. A couple laughed somewhere behind me. Music drifted from a rooftop bar above. I reached the riverfront just as the sky turned that electric shade of violet only Portland could pull off. There was a bench I liked, facing the water, with rusted bolts and uneven legs. I sat, elbows on knees, staring at the place Sierra and I once imagined opening a spa retreat. I'd design it. She'd run it. Earth meets glass, she said once. Like Zen with edge. Funny how even shared dreams can decay, like wood left too long in the rain. I sat there for a while. And then I stood. Not because I wanted to leave the past behind, but because I finally knew how to carry it with me. Not every betrayal deserves punishment. Some need to be answered with rebuilding. Not to prove you're stronger. But to prove you don't have to break others just to rise again.